It's a Beechcraft Bonanza engine. There was pilot Bruce Jernan on board. The other two passengers were father and your business partner. They take off from Andros Island in the Bahamas and flew northwest to the coast of Florida. That's the 12th of April 1970. If you take a map, and then a straight line from the island of Bermuda, with Puerto Rico, Miami and back to Bermuda, what will come out? Yes, a triangle. This dangerous area is widely known for swallowing 2,000 ships and 200 planes, mysteriously over the centuries. Bruce Jerny's plane is also in this VI. This is a flight, as always, that Bruce has done 10 times. The journey took about an hour and a half, and never had any glitches or mysterious phenomena. The psychology of the crew, it was no different then, when you move to work. But this time it's different. They're faced with extremely unusual situations. Bruce takes the plane off and start raising altitude. Immediately strange things happen. At an altitude of about 300 meters, I see a small cloud ahead. But it keeps growing. It's not because the plane is getting closer that the cloud is really going to raw. Bruce has to fly through this cloud, and I flew out of there safely. Another mysterious cloud appears at an altitude of 3,500 meters. This cloud is huge. Bruce had no choice but to... You have to fly through. So I focused on taking a deep breath, and then start driving in there. The sky around the plane was as dark as night, when any rays of sunlight can pass through. But this is not a storm cloud, and it doesn't rain. Bruce started to worry, and then he saw these white rays. They appear and disappear like lightning. But the pilot knew it wasn't lightning. The flashes of light, to the point of making the surrounding space glow. Bruce flew for another 30 minutes and realized, that's the cloud you flew through when it first started to take off. But now the cloud is cylindrical, and the plane is flying through the center of this cloud. It's a straight 1.5 kilometers wide, and it seems endless. Bruce thought that, I'll never be able to get out of that trap. But a minute later, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Image of the straightforward plane, and almost out of this nightmare. But suddenly, things that can't be explained happen. The cloud tunnel begins to narrow. The walls are coming closer to the plane. The navigation tools start to jump irregularly, and the compass turns itself against the clock. All the electronic devices are malfunctioning. It's like a plane. It's being run by something else, or flying inside an electric current. Bruce's attempts at control were in vain. You keep flying through that tunnel. You take the plane up and down, with determination to get out of the cloud to survive, and tell this story. The walls keep shrinking, and then it gets smaller and it's wrapped together like a tornado. Bruce has no time. You must leave this place quickly. The next 20 seconds is time. The most stressful thing in my life. But then, you're out of the fog. Bruce later said that he felt there is no wait. In 5 seconds as the plane leaves the tunnel, the clouds vanish, and the plane is now in the middle of a gray cloud. The two men breathed a sigh of relief. He immediately picked up the radio and contacted the department. Ground control. Bruce wants them to locate you. But when the coordinator, look at the blue screen. His face wrinkled with confusion. Bruce's plane wasn't on the radar. It's as if this vehicle is invisible. But then, dispatcher says the plane is in airspace. Miami. Bruce was shocked to hear this news. This can't be true. The distance of the Beechcraft. It's about 400 kilometers. Remember, the whole trip usually takes about 90 minutes. But this time it took them 47 minutes to get there. And this type of plane, it can only fly at about 290 kilometers per hour. Just do a simple math. Is that AI also understands how impossible this is? The dispatcher must have been wrong. But when the clouds split apart, Bruce saw that he was flying over Miami. The plane landed safely. It's time to try to solve this mystery. What happened on that flight? Bruce, check the remaining fuel and your meter. After a quick calculation, you're more confused. The plane didn't run out of fuel as usual. Bruce can't be wrong, you're one. You're an experienced pilot. By the time he was 20, he'd flown 600 hours. And I'm familiar with the sky. That I've been through countless times. All the evidence is in hand. It seems to be showing that Bruce's plane jumped. Almost half the way. The pilot. I've been thinking about this strange thing for a long time. I've even consulted of professors and experts. But none of them can give us an answer. Exactly, for what happened that day. So he came up with his own theory. And I wrote a book about it. Bruce thinks the cause is the clouds, with electricity and white light. But others have suggested that dark energy. It's what's causing the jump at this time. Yes, it's dark energy. Has caused the expansion of the universe. This energy can bend space-time. It's similar to a black hole, and create that weird tunnel. Bruce accidentally crashed into, but I was lucky to get out. That's why I say, oh, you're approaching Miami airspace very quickly. But dark energy, it's just a theory put forward to try and explain for the unexplained. So far, we don't have an exact answer. Behind the story, how did Bruce manage to fly that distance in such a short time? But there are some details that have been explained. Archive records show there are 84 sunspots recorded that day, and a big solar wind blowing at nearly 700 kilometers per second. This has caused quite a stir in the word Earthrights and affected devices, as well as the plane's radar. So Bruce's theory is that you've been in a cloud. Maybe you're right. What about the strange clouds? The problem here is that it's quite common in this area. Areas of continuous low and high pressure. We meet here. As a result, storm clouds will form. Maybe the clouds appeared in front of Bruce's eyes. It's simply two large jets of air crashing into each other. So far, no one can explain it yet. How did the plane get to Miami so fast? Maybe in the future the truth will be revealed. But at this point, it's still a mystery. It's from the Bermuda Triangle. However, it's still not the most shocking incident in the region. Ever since 1945, there were a total of 5 planes missing at the same time, in the Bermuda Triangle. On 5/10/2, some Navy pilot trainees. We are training in this area. The lesson of the day was navigation. Wait for the tease. They couldn't find their way back to the base and got lost. Many people think they've run out of fuel. Maybe this led to the accident. But the situation is very strange. Cadets led by an experienced lieutenant. 2,500 hours of surveillance. You can't let a new group of people go too far. To get lost like that. It's called Flight 19. So far, there's debate about the cause. Make it happen. 3 years after a commercial jet flew to Miami from Puerto Rico and disappeared in the same area that we just talked about. There were 29 passengers on board and 3 crew members. The weather was great during the flight. The experts believe that when the plane was located off the coast of Miami, about 80 kilometers, maybe it was a strong wind, and fly off course. Many years later, the divers found a plane. It's like that under the sea. But because it lacks some details and certain registration information, so no one can confirm that. That's the plane that went missing in Miami. A month later, in January 1948, another plane has gone missing in Bermuda. 25 passengers and 6 crew members. Somewhere between Asia and Bermuda. The mystery of the plane's disappearance, along with countless other means. There's still no answer.